Episode 4 of Alternate History of the World. Let's get into it. So, last episode, many things happened following the conclusion of World War One. Specifically, in this alternate scenario where Germany won. Today, we're going to be starting in Italy, as Italy is having colonial issues. Italy just gained a lot of land, really quick out of this war. Let me highlight all the territories real quick. As we can see, they have territories everywhere around the world. And this is all the territories that the Italians own. Oh, and these 3 islands. And I can't forget Albania. But what did they own before? They owned, well, the Italian peninsula in that part. They also owned lists like part of Libya here, Eritrea, Somalia, and nothing else. That's literally all they owned. And they, as you can see from that, they just gained a lot of territory super quickly. And because of that, they're having issues. I'm going to... yeah. I am going to remove the outlines. But, what's Bulgaria doing? Oh my, I forgot the color of the border? Okay, I guess I'm going to be doing that again. But, oh my goodness. Can I color this? There. Now I can officially color Albania. And we're going to be starting specifically over in Albania. Because Albania is actually the most unstable area. And Albania is going to rebel away from the Italians. And they're going to win the revolution. And they gain independence. And the Italians are like, hey, Germany, can you help with this? And Alex Einstein, only really used Italy for, to win the war. For nothing else. They don't really consider them an ally, so they're gonna send, a few hundred troops. And then the next big rebellion is going to be over in Western Australia, as this area is going to be rebelling away in the south. But this time the Germans are going to be sending more help to this to show them that the Italians might actually be an ally, seeing what they've done, but the rebellion is successful. And eventually we can look at a peace treaty. And that peace treaty is that peace treaty is going to be pretty simple, as the southern parts of Australia, so I can just draw a super quick border real quick. And this is what the Italians own, as the southern parts of Australia have broken away. And the next big one is in the Americas, as Louisiana will be breaking away, and so will Florida. And, well, the Italians are going to be fighting, as more and more states will continue to break away. As more and more states will just, as the Germans will be attempting to send help, but they can't. Or is Alex just not wanting to? But we can look at how this one is divided. And this is how it's divided. The Italians do get to keep Georgia, though. Yeah, until they break away. And I'm not trying to depict the US states here, but, well, Italy loses their control over the Americas. And it's not looking very good for the Italians, as, especially with you, India's colony in Italy. Well, wait, Ottomans? Did I forget that? Wait, did the Ottomans leave the Circle Alliance? But on the Ottomans, when we talk about the Ottomans, I'm still going to keep the Italian color. No, actually, no. We don't need it anymore because we are going to be taking a break with Italy. And we might go back to that later. Because the Ottomans, which have been growing their empire a pretty big amount recently, and all their territories look like this, they are going to be invading Iran. The Ottoman-Persian War, it hasn't happened in 100 years, but it's happening again. As the Ottomans will be sending their troops into the very dense Irani mountains, as there's a lot of mountains in this region. What's these dots doing here? I don't know, but there. When the Persians will be pretty much they're called Persia at this time, but the Persians will be able to push back. Yeah. Until the Italians, they don't care. They have a very not so nice dictator, as they would be invading into Iran as well in order to try to make the empire pretty big. But despite being on two sides, the Persians will be pushing back against the Italians, as the Italians still have very weak militaries. Most of the Italians are, yeah. But it's kind of saved by the Ottomans as they push back. Oh, and eventually Turkmenistan joins this war. I don't know why, but they just do, as they will also be invading into here. The Iranians are still going to be pushing back against the Italians before the Ottoman and Turkmenic forces will be going ahead and eventually taking the capital and eventually forcing them to surrender, but not until another government goes ahead and takes it over. Let's look at a peace treaty. Yeah. And this is what the Treaty of Istanbul brings for Iran, as Turkmenistan annexed some lands, and so do the Ottomans. And, well, notable thing, the Italians will be losing land from South Persia. But that's why I said South Persia, because Iran/Persia gets split into North and South Persia. Yeah, and the Ottomans are expanding a lot, now owning, if I can, all of these territories here, which they've kind of rebuilt their empire at this point, but just made it even bigger. But they also might want control over the Caspian Sea, and the Ottomans are going to be gaining a lot of power. And what they do, what shape have I not used? Oh yeah, square. They are going to be forming a new alliance, the Square Alliance. And some countries are going to join this, like Turkmenistan is going to join this alliance. Yeah. And they are also going to invite other Asian nations into this alliance. What happened to... Wait, did I forget? Didn't Mexico invade this? What? Oh yeah, let me just fix that real quick. I don't know how I didn't mix that up. But I guess Central America looks like that. But back to what I was saying. Other Central Asian countries are going to be invited into this alliance, such as this country and this country. And the Ottomans are also going to be inviting China into this alliance. And China is going to say no, as they feel like that the Ottomans are the two Middle East. They just feel like that they don't really want to. Yeah. But, we need to talk about Communist Russia. Because the Communist Russians, which are these guys, are going to be invading Siberia in order to attempt and take back old lands. As Communist troops will be sending their forces over into Siberia, the Siberians didn't expect this, and because they're Russian and Soviet, they would be doing very well. And then the Chinese joined the war, and, well, it's not good at all for the Siberians, as they just completely lose this land. And they both will eventually go here. The capital's already been taken. But eventually the Siberians will be forced to surrender. Let's look at a peace treaty. And this is what the Treaty of Moscow brings for Siberia, as the Communist Russians will be taking a bunch of land over in the eastern part of Siberia. Here, China will be annexing lands here, and this tiny piece of land. Yeah. And also Siberia is split into two, east and west. But the next thing that will happen is, Mongolia. Never expected that. The Chinese will be continuing their expansions into Mongolia. And, well, the Chinese military modernly has more that manpower than the entire country of Mongolia. This country singularly has like the 3 million people modernly. I don't know how many people in World War One, but, well, let's just say it's not a very nice peace treaty for the Mongolians, because the Mongols, full annexation, yeah, full annexation. And China has been expanding a lot, and who knows if they might want to reform the Qing Dynasty, because right now it seems like they might want to do that. As they're looking at their eyes on this country here, and they're also offering a big trade deal with Japan and Korea. Yeah. There's a lot of things happening, and the Ottoman Alliance is going to be gaining a new member a couple years after, and this member is going to be South Persia. North Persia, they are going to be joining the Circle Alliance. Yeah, nothing bad will ever happen from that. Right? Right, guys? Right? Yeah. But for the final thing that's going to happen in this video, just like I was saying, China has set their eyes on this country. And, well, they are going to be sending all their troops into it, and not all of them, a small division into it, as it's very weak. And, well, when we look at the peace treaty, we can see that, if I can do this, well, full annexation. And, China is looking at Korea and thinking about it, but they're just gonna have to ask Germany or Japan about Korea. Because China, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Alternate History of the World. See you in the next episode, and bye!